In this video, I'm going to outline every single figure I've ever sold and why. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to 16 Figure Focus, and in this video, as I stated in the intro, I'm going to outline every single 1/6 scale figure I've ever sold and why. Now I know sometimes like selling figures can be a bit of a kind of a dirty word or dirty phrase, and sometimes, you know, it's frowned upon in the community, and I know myself, like I definitely don't buy figures with the intention of making money on them, because let's face it, if you're trying to do that, that's probably the wrong game to be in. Flipping figures extremely really hard, especially that it's kind of like a buyer's market at the moment. So for me, typically when I buy something, it stays in my collection, or I have the vision of it stays in my collecting for basically a long time. Unfortunately, sometimes I don't always get it right. Sometimes a new figure comes out that looks a lot better or more superior than the one I have, and because I particularly like that character, I want to upgrade. Sometimes I get doubles and realize I don't need to, and sometimes I just get bored of figures and make missteps. But look, let's take a look. Right, so we'll start off. The first figure that I ever sold was actually the first figure I ever bought. I actually bought the MMS 67 and MMS 68 when they came out. These are Dark Knight branded, so Dark Knight was 2008. I think I got these about 2009, maybe 2010 at the latest. These were basically my they're my first ever two Hot Toys figures, very first ever Hot Toys figures, the MMS 67 and 68. This actually doesn't look too bad the way it's posed here, to be honest. I kind of semi-regret selling this one because you could actually get it into decent poses. But why did I sell it? I sold it because I anticipated, this was before actually the release of the DX19 and then the terrible Batman Begins 2.0, but I sold this figure because it was starting to look very, very dated, and with them, I thought they were going to go back into the Dark Knight line, which they have, and I thought they would produce a better Batman Begins, which unfortunately they really haven't. Now I've since got that 2.0 with the matte finish, thankfully, and I've got an OT Customs cape for it. And I got the Jackson Shoe custom head sculpts on order. Thankfully, I got a matte body, should I say, and I've got a very nice base for it as well. So I'm hopefully going to put it all together and make it look somewhat similar to what Dean Knight has done. If I get it something like that, I'll be really, really happy with it. But yeah, I sold this figure because I anticipated better versions of it coming out, and realistically, I'm wrong on that. Also, the head sculpt for Bruce Wayne that came with the Christian Bale one really wasn't great at all, and it was just starting to look a bit dated compared to other figures. Now the next one I sold, I think it's pretty obvious why I sold. Let's just look at the image. The in-art Joker, I kind of anticipated Hot Toys doing a like 4.0 or 3.0, wherever it was, and then out of nowhere in-art came out, and the in-art rooted 2-pack is just, they're not even in the same leagues as this. But then again, this is a very, very old figure. It's one of their first Heath Ledger Dark Knight Jokers they did, and at the time when I got it, it was still the best figure 1/6 scale Heath Ledger that I'd ever seen anyway. But yeah, look, Hot Toys are constantly getting better and better, so this one again was starting to look dated, particularly old figures, so I sold the two of them off, and zero regrets. I've no regrets from this one, because what I have in front of me now, I'm just looking to the right, I have the jail cell version of the in-art rooted Joker, and I've got the purple coat version downstairs in the IKEA Millsbow, which is lit up by custom made Luke lights for them. Typically you hear about Luke lights, people think about the Detolfs or the Leadens behind me, but they actually make Luke light specifically for the IKEA Millsbow as well, and I upgraded that at the weekend and haven't looked back. It just looks stunning. So there's a video I did reviewing those Luke lights specifically for Millsbow. It's on my channel. It's one of the last 2 or 3 videos I have, so check that out if you're interested. But yeah, my point is, the in-art Joker is leagues ahead of this, but then again, it's not a fair comparison. This figure, what, came out in what, 2010 or whatever? So yeah, no regrets there. That was it made sense to get rid of it, claw back some money. I'm comfortable taking losses on figures like that. Realistically, you can't expect to get the same price that you paid 10 years ago, especially when there's other far more superior versions of this particular figure. The DX11 is even better than this, and now of course you got J&D and in-art and stuff like that. So look, the way I see it is, if I buy a figure for $300 and I sell it for $150, have I lost $150? Well, you could look at it like that. Or is $150 the price that you pay for, I don't know, keeping that figure for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whatever. So then of course the DX02, this was out of all the Hot Toys or 1/6 scale figures I've ever got, whether it was Big Chief Studios, in-art, kit bashers, or not kit bashers, third party, the most disappointed I ever was with Hot Toys anyway was the DX02. I worked backwards, I overpaid. The thing is a glorified statue. With the DX19, they have a neoprene undersuit and then the panels are individually stuck onto it, segmented like in the movie with the Kevlar plates. That was the whole thing, the separated plates. This is actually pure rubber and the plates are kind of like carved in or molded into them. Not great at all. The mouth plates are really goofy, the eyeballs are really googly. The ankles I think were prone to breaking as well. One of my ankles was broken inside it. The cape was dreadful. It was really disappointing because I wanted this representation. The DX19 hadn't even been announced. As soon as the DX19 was announced, that's why I sold this. And again, never looked back. So if we go back and just recap, do I regret selling this one? Not particularly. I do think the Batman Begins one that I put together with the matte Batman Begins 2.0, the custom Jackson shoe head sculpt, the OT Customs cape, and of course that base that very, very kindly gifted to me by Ian, Agent Silver Fox. I was looking for it. I think it's a base from a Spider-Man figure. I know Dean Knight has his Batman Begins posed on it. And what I like about it, it's wide enough that you can stand the figure on, but narrow enough, got the cape drapes over the sides of it, recreating that first night out scene from Batman Begins when he's perched over Gotham looking down after capturing Falcone and stuff like that and stringing him up. So yeah, I do think I'm going to be better on that. No question, this was a good decision. Sell this, claw back some money in and invest it into the other figures. And the same with this one, zero regrets. The DX19, absolutely love it. MMS 470. This was kind of like, I took a big break from Hot Toys. I bought my first two, like I said, around 2010, the MMS 67, 68. Had nowhere to display them because I hadn't owned a house at the time. So then re-engaged with the hobby around about 2017 because I was in the process of getting a house and all that kind of stuff. And I had display space and that was very, it was a very, very exciting time and stuff like that. I then picked up a few figures, but unfortunately, this one here, I liked the character Black Panther. I liked the first movie. I thought the second movie was okay, but in general, I don't love the character and I should have never bought it because I think that's a slippery slope. And that's one of the kind of missteps I made along the way. And that's why now I pass on a lot of things that I like, a lot of things that look cool to get the things that I love, okay? So there's so many different companies and figures vying for your wallet and your money now. For me, it just doesn't make sense to just buy figures that I think are, okay, or that I like them, or just because I look cool. But look, it's a great figure. But yeah, I sold it on just again, I shouldn't have bought it in the first place. Yeah, there's two of these here because I bought two of them and I sold two of them. I had one to pose next to Mysterio and then one to pose on the drones. Took a bunch of photos with them, enjoyed them at the time. It's a great piece. It's a fantastic piece. But the reason I sold these is because I was on track at one stage to having 9 Spider-Mans in the collection. I do not need 9 Spider-Mans in the collection. I have the Homecoming Deluxe suit. Again, I'm always banging on about it. It's from a movie I really like. I really liked Homecoming. I have the Mark 47, which complements it. It has the blue and red traditional Spidey suit. It's a Tom Holland Spider-Man. It's my favorite Spider-Man. And also, it comes with a bunch of really cool accessories. You can layer it up. It's got the hoodie. It's got the yellow blazer, the headphones, it's got the science book, the little backpack and stuff like that. It's just really, really cool accessories. So you can pose them up with that with the Spider-Man mask underneath. So that is my favorite, and probably will be my favorite Spider-Man for the foreseeable future. Although that Tom Holland final swing suit could give it a run for its money. So I had to offload a lot of Spider-Man basically. So 2 of these, yeah, unfortunately they had to go, and it's not because they're bad figures, it's just because I need to be realistic. Are you going to keep 9? I'm not. So again, sold them, put money aside, and have some money aside for the future figures which I'd be more passionate about. The DX19, this might be an absolute shocker. I'm a huge Batman fan, huge Dark Knight fan. Dark Knight trilogy is my favorite trilogy. Love Christopher Nolan, is my favorite director. And the Bale rendition of Batman in the suits, they are my favorite. This is my favorite Batsuit. I've got it in quarter scale. I've got the DX19 downstairs paired with the in-art purple coat root hair Joker. I wanted 2 because I wanted one to pair on the Batpod. But then with in-art, again, I know it's a meme, but in-art have stated they are going to do a Christian Bale Batman, so that would complement better with the Jokers, and I'd imagine they're going to do a 2-pack. If I had to predict, they'll do this suit with a Bruce Wayne in just a normal suit or something like that, and that's something that'll be the first civilian character to ever pick up and make an exception for Bruce Wayne. I typically don't collect civilian characters. So yeah, I sold this off. This one of the figures I've actually made a little bit of profit on as well, because I was kind of sold when the hype was high or whatever. great figure, absolutely love it. The cape isn't bad either. A lot of these capes, Hot Toys, they're not renowned for their capes. A lot of their capes are poor. The DX02 I mentioned earlier on was a terrible cape. The DX12 cape wasn't much better. The DX19 stock cape's not bad. But the Jackson Shoe custom that I was given from, shout out to Alan, the 6 scale gallery, is fantastic and it drapes really nice. And I think that's one thing InArt probably will do quite good if and when they do this. Now you'd be waiting, I'd imagine. We could be, even if they announce it today, you mightn't see the figure for 2.5 years. So that is frustrating. But look, the DX19 looks great next to the purple coat Joker. And if and when InArt managed to do this, and I like the prototype images and I pull the trigger and I get it in hand, then, of course, this version will be next to the InArt Joker, and the DX19, which I have downstairs, goes on the back pot or something to that effect. Okay, so again, I sold this because it's a double. So if you think about it, like, most of the time I'm selling because there's a better version of that figure coming out, and I want to upgrade. And I don't always upgrade to the newest, shiniest thing. Another reason is I've had multiple figures. And yeah, sometimes from time to time, just fall out of love with figures, and usually when I don't fully think through, and it could be a bit of an impulse buy. Thankfully it doesn't happen that often, but it has happened and I'm learning from it. This I did not like the Hot Toys 1.0 Bane. I thought it was really skinny, and I've heard horror stories about the jacket peeling. Daft Toys did a really nice kit, and what came with it was you had all the clothing. So you had the boots, the pants, the belt, the kind of the army vest. It had, I'm not sure, I think it came with a t-shirt as well, I can't really remember, and the coat and stuff like that. So what I did was I got a Feist, I think it was an M35 body. I saw Justin do it before, put it all together and looked fantastic. But as soon as they announced that Bane, let's be honest, that Bane, if it turns out like the prototype, the body is more screen accurate. The chest, the shoulder, the traps, the seamless arms. You've got two coats. They're not pleather. You're not going to have a peeling issue. Because what I noticed about this one is the Feist M35 is more like an Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator type of body. And Bane, Tom Hardy, he was jacked, he was huge, but he kind of had a bit of belly. He wasn't that actual shape. So I do think the Hot Toys one would be far superior than this. So yeah, as soon as that was announced, I got that out and made a bit of money back for it. Daft Toys Joker, again, similar situation. He had a World Box body underneath this, and they sold this with a head sculpt, which wasn't great. The mask version, which is the one that I wanted to display, and it came with, the duffel bag, a few different weapons and accessories, stuff like that, and the clothing and stuff like that. And it wasn't too bad to put together now, to be honest. Don't think the neck connectors actually worked. The ones that came with the I can't remember. I think the ones that came with the body, none of them actually fit into this properly, but it still looked the part for a while. But it was starting to look like there was a quality difference between this and all the other say like Hot Toys or even the InArt figures in the collection. So yeah, this went as well. Posing this anywhere near the InArt Joker, it just wouldn't make sense. There was a definite quality difference. You can see even the shape of the body and stuff like that. It's just not the same. So that was starting to look dated, and there was a quality drop. And I don't want to have figures in the collection that are, I know not all figures are equal, but I don't want to have a figure that stands out as being particularly poor. Again, this one here, I was thinking about picking up the Black Panther, the kind of 2.0 they did with from the movie with the and had the kind of the tribal spear and all that. And this was a total impulse buy, not gonna lie, total impulse buy. Picked it up. Actually, the long neck on this was kind of jarring as well. But thought the head sculpt was really cool. It is a cool figure. I like Michael B. Jordan, but again, I just don't like the movie Black Panther enough to justify having the figures. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. Amazing actor, fantastic depiction of the character. Really enjoyed the movie and his appearances in, say, Civil War and stuff like that, and Infinity War, Endgame, and all that kind of stuff. Michael B. Jordan, just great in pretty much everything I've seen him. Particularly the as a villain in Black Panther. I thought he was underused. But yeah, and again, it's just not a line that I'm going to commit to, because I like the characters, but I don't really love the characters. So that was one that had to go. This is just a cool figure. It just looks stunning on the shelf. It's a huge figure. I love the colors of the different plates, the blues, the mustard, the yellows, the undersuit as well, the flight suits. It's kind of chipped away, weathered, charred, that huge gun, the jetpack. It's all good. So you're like, why did you sell it? because I just simply wasn't actually looking at it enough. I know it sounds silly, but like, it was like nearly one of those figures like, yeah, I forgot I had that. And that's never a good sign for me personally. Like, I want to be kind of excited about the different figures coming in. I want to be kind of coming in and having something catch my eye. Because usually the way I've set up now, every time I walk in, it's a different piece, a different figure that catches my eye. And I notice a little detail. And usually I link that back to the movies I like. And it's like, yeah, that belongs here as well. Like, I will sell again. But when I buy stuff, for me, because I'm relatively disciplined collector, I'm never going to have like, a couple hundred figures, and that's definitely not the plan. I'd rather refine my collection, be a bit more disciplined, and pick specific pieces. I don't get it right all the time. I have multiple Iron Mans. I'm not sure if they're all going to last. But yeah, with this one here, cool figure, haven't got a bad word to say about it, but I just wasn't actually looking at it enough. But sometimes I do catch myself sometimes going, oh, I might buy that one back, it would look really good in the Mandalorian display. But I've actually never, once I've sold a figure, bought one back. And I've never actually bought one going, that was a mistake. So that's usually a good sign. But fantastic piece. But yeah, just literally wasn't looking at it enough. Strange. This is part of the downsizing for this one. This figure, I remember the reason I bought this figure is because I wanted the Homecoming Deluxe. That was the one I wanted, but it was waitlisted on Sideshow. It was going for like close to silly money on eBay. I think it was close to nearly $1,000. Like, I know people think, I don't think they were selling for that. I think they were selling for about maybe $6. I saw one online actually the other day for $4, so where was that? But yeah, couldn't find the Homecoming one, the one that I described earlier on with the yellow blazer and the the blue hoodie and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up getting this one. Again, this is part of the downsizing the Spider-Man collection. I do not need, I don't want nor need 9 Spider-Man. The plan is to keep the one I have downstairs. That's my favorite. I want the final swing suit, and I would like Andrew, Toby, and the integrated suit Tom to recreate that meme scene and have them together, because I did really like No Way Home. I thought that was just fantastic. Since Endgame, really, that and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 were the 2 movies I thought which were just 5-star movies. I don't think they've come close with any of the other movies really since Endgame. But yeah, this look, the Iron Spider is one of those figures that I think probably needs a 2.0, to be honest. I think the body proportions could be a bit better, and that suit, it creases a lot. It is forgiving, but you'd have to put it back to a neutral pose and leave it there for a while. But I like it. I do like it, but just not enough to warrant to keep it. So that's why I passed on that one. Mysterio, of course, there's no point having Mysterio without the upgraded suit. That's the way I looked at it. And again, a figure that I kind of nearly forgot I had. That's not a good sign. Yeah, I had that as well with the Mysterio and the upgraded suit, so there's no point in hanging on to that if I got rid of the upgraded suit, Spider-Man's, and the Mysterio. And then the Batman version, this is a lesson to any brand new collectors. Like, there's nothing wrong with the upgraded suits. The 2 upgraded suits are fantastic. I really like this one as well. The Mysterio is a great figure. My point was, there was definitely a bit of impulsive buying, I want to say, to be completely honest. And again, that's someone who's coming from, like, again, I don't have hundreds and hundreds of figures. I'm trying to keep that like kind of keep it under wraps somehow. I don't want to just be ordering and have 30-40 different pre-orders. I want to, when I go into the collection and I look at all the different pieces, going, yeah, that looks amazing, that looks amazing, that's from one of my favorite movies, that's from my favorite trilogies, that's from one of my favorite TV shows, that's fantastic, rooted hair, whatever. That's what I want to do. So just kind of outlined all these different things. But again, this is pretty cool. If I had to critique it a bit though, I really like weathering, and this is the prototype image, but the final product, it wasn't even that weathered. It should have been a bit more torn up and tattered, I felt, but still very cool. But and the base is kind of cool as well. And finally, this is one I passed on or sold there last week. I hadn't sold anything in months, and then I got rid of this. I'm getting rid of this, the ketchup and the mustard, the incinerator, and the artillery. Have one on sale if you want it. Haven't sold that yet. And again, Trooper Collector. Have them all posed up next to me in the just to kind of there's a ledge here, the windowsill, kind of like a shelf. They all look fantastic. So Shore Troopers, the, Remnant Stormtrooper, Cody, Clone Trooper, a bunch of different short troopers. Looks fantastic. And these ones, just fell out of love with them. They stand out like a sore thumb because they're very, 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 very clean. I think that's pretty much it then. That's pretty much it, yeah. So again, that was every single figure that I've ever sold and why. Typically, when I'm purchasing something, I want it to stay in the collection for the long term. I don't always get that right. But I don't buy figures to flip figures. There's no value in that. There's easier ways to make money. I'm collecting for the love of the hobby. I'm collecting for the love of the characters. Typically things have to be triple threats. Love the character, love the source material, and love that version. And if I really, that's something that I've kind of like started doing the last year, and some of these figures I bought before that. So if I really had that dialed in, maybe I wouldn't have purchased some of these figures in the first place, or definitely not doubles. But yeah, that's it. I think we're about 10 subscribers away from the big 3,000. So if you're watching this video, you got any sort of value, please consider supporting the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know if you've had any of these figures, what you think. Let me know what figures you've sold. Like, do you sell? Have you sold in the past? Have you ever bought something back? Yeah, leave a comment, let me know. Also, follow me on Instagram and on X. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.